This is the Composer Corner. Composer Corner.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Composer's Corner. My name's Eloise, and today I'm joined with a very special guest. She's taken a break out of her busy schedule as a pianist, composer and piano teacher. It's Clara Schumann! Hi Clara, how are you?
Hi Eloise, I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome. So let's dive right in. Can we start off with a bit of background? Tell us about yourself.
Well, I was born in Leipzig in 1819, so I'm almost 202 years old now. I grew up surrounded by music and was encouraged to study and practice from a very early age. I spent most of my career as a pianist, composer and piano teacher.
You became a bit of a child prodigy, didn't you? Can you tell us what it was like for you growing up in the spotlight? And did you have a lot of support from your family?
Well, it was actually my family that inspired me to play piano, and I worked extremely hard from a very young age, performing, composing and studying music. My father was supportive and pushed me hard in my studies. He taught me piano and accompanied me to many of my tours as a child and later on in life. Of course, when I had my own children, they were encouraged to spend a lot of time studying music too.
Tell me, what was it like for you as a female composer in the 1830s?
Throughout my life, being a professional musician as a woman has been really hard. Women in my time were expected to be running the household, and as a musician it was often frowned upon for me to perform outside of the private household, especially when I was no longer a child. It wasn't only hard as a performer, but also as a female composer, it was almost impossible to get my works published. Despite these difficulties, my career lasted around 60 years, performing, composing, studying and teaching. I guess hard work pays off.
That must have been really hard. What about your husband, Robert Schumann? How was it with you both working as professional musicians?
Robert often composed with my performances in mind, and I often travelled across Europe and England to perform both his and our good friend Brahms's works. It wasn't always easy though. We had our ups and downs, and for a while I lost confidence in my compositions. Looking back, I wish I'd persevered.
I've heard that a lot of your recitals back in the day were performed from memory. In fact, you were the first woman in Europe to be performing this way. What was your favourite piece to perform?
My favourite of my own compositions is the piano trio in G minor. Really worth a listen if I may say so myself.
It really is. You can easily find recordings on YouTube if you want to listen to the whole piece. How about any pieces that were written by your husband? Did you enjoy performing these, or would you rather perform your own music?
I really loved playing his works, especially the ones he wrote specifically for me to perform. Although I do wish it had been easier for women in my day to have their works published like the men, and for public performance by women to have been respected and supported equally to men.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to me today, Clara. It's been amazing to learn about your life, and I hope your music will be listened to for years to come. I'm sure our listeners have got some valuable insights into your life as an artist. Do you have any words of wisdom or advice for any young musicians out there who are just getting started?
My biggest piece of advice is that as a performer and composer, things can get really competitive and you may find yourself doubting your talents. If you ever feel this way, you have to remember what it was that made you take that path in the first place. Remember your passion for music and find ways to keep it burning.
Just one final quick question to end this interview. I thought I would ask you one of the most asked questions by our listeners. Is it true there was a love triangle with Brahms, or is that just the media?
Eloise! I can't believe you'd ask such an outrageous question.
This is the Composer Corner. Composer